Continuing tonight on Newsmax Prime, we look forward to getting your video, but we don't mind getting your phone calls tonight for the rest of the program. Remember the number, 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. And we continue our conversation with political commentator Michael Reagan. Michael, of course, the author of the new bestseller, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. And as always, you can find and follow Michael on Twitter at Reagan World. Michael, as we welcome you back, we go to the phones from Hilton Head, South Carolina. Ron is on the line. And Ron, I understand you have a question for Michael.
Yes, I do. I served in the Army Reserve from 1982 to 1984. And then I was in the Marine Corps from 1984 to 93, and most of I served underneath Ronald Reagan and his father, and he kept us out of war because he had us build up that we was ready to go, but no one wanted to mess with us. And the reason why we were so successful in Desert Storm, because we was coming off of his coattails, and we had the mission to kick Hussein's butt out of Kuwait and get it done by storming Norman. Anyways, we need a president like that. But the question I have is, there were some people saying that Ronald Reagan was a liberal and a Democrat when he was like in the 60s or whatever, and he switched over to being a Republican and a conservative. And I think I like Donald Trump, and we need someone like him to be a headhunter and just, give us our pride back. I mean,
so you're basically asking, Ron, can Donald Trump, if Ronald Reagan was able to change political philosophies and parties, why not Donald Trump? What about that, Michael?
Well, Ronald Reagan did a lot more than that. He was a conservative Democrat is what he was, and became a conservative Republican in 1962 for a myriad of reasons. I talk about those things in my book. Lessons My Father Taught Me. You might want to go out and, in fact, get it. But I will tell you this, that he also was a governor of the state of California, the sixth largest economy in the world during the 1960s, and turned the economy of California around. So he had a record of really accomplishing things as governor of California and being a governor. So I think governors are a lot more qualified to be presidents. I know Donald Trump talks the big game and what have you, but can he play the big game when he gets to that level, if you will, of the presidency of the United States of America? And this may be the person you want, may end up being the person that I want. But what I'm saying is, there's a whole group of people out there who don't like Donald Trump and don't like Hillary Clinton, and they're looking for a third place to go. It's not going to be the Bill Kristol operation, what he's trying to do, but it would be a Joe Biden operation coming in the Democrat Party at this point. And so the Republicans and the conservatives better watch out for that kind of a move if something, in fact, happens to Hillary Clinton.
All right, let me just, because you commented on this, and I don't want to pass it up, a chance to amplify it, and that is the whole effort now, Bill Kristol and David French, and now Mitt Romney. It's being quoted saying he's going to support Mr. French. Now, to have the standard bearer of the Republican Party go off and do this from 4 years ago, to abandon the party, you don't think in the final analysis that will have an impact as much as a possible Joe Biden candidacy?
No, I think it's stupid, to be honest with you. And Mitt Romney and Bill Kristol, I just go home, go back to bed. It just shows poor loser Mitt Romney. It really shows you the reason he lost 4 years ago, because he's thin-skinned and what have you. It's interesting, and I have to agree with Donald Trump here. Donald Trump was good enough to go bow down and kiss his ring and ask for money for your campaign, but now we're against Donald Trump. You can't have it both ways, Mitt, and I think that this shows the reason Mitt lost 4 years ago. And again, I think a third party coming from the Republican side, conservative side, is just really asinine, if you will. Just get over it. Donald Trump's going to be the nominee of the party. There's two choices: Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. Those are the two choices. They're really that simple.
All right, well, we will just, for his part, this is what Romney tweeted out earlier, quoting now, "I know David French to be an honorable, intelligent, and patriotic person. I look forward to following what he has to say." But, Michael, you say no can do when it comes to Mr. French, Mr. Romney, and Mr. Kristol. Fair enough.
Who's French? I mean, you go, go on a street corner and ask who's French.
Yeah, I think back as a TV trivia maven. I think back to the Sebastian Cabot role in the old sitcom Family Affair. That Mr. French, but I don't want to do David French a disservice. He's an honorable American. He's just getting some bad advice getting in this race. Betsy McCoy was on this program last night, and she really lit into Bill Kristol about this. Let's listen to what Betsy had to say on this program last night.
I call him kamikaze Kristol. He should have been drubbed out of the Republican Party for his efforts to raise this independent candidacy. The fact is that he's not going to get anybody with any kind of credibility to take on that role.
And it seems to be, with the folks we have talked to, Michael, tonight you're adding your voice to it. There was Betsy last night calling him kamikaze Kristol. And Dick Morris was on this program last night, and again, he readily dismissed it. Here's the way Dick put it on the program last night.
I don't think there'll be a serious third-party challenge. Gary Johnson on the Libertarian Party may get some votes, but at the end of the day, everybody is going to be so polarized for and against Hillary or for or against Trump that I don't really think a third candidate will be effective, and certainly somebody who nobody's ever heard of.
Back to the phones we go now, as everybody is weighing in about the problem with the conservative challenge. I believe our caller is from Virginia. I want to say the name is James. If that's incorrect, oh, no, it is James in Marion, Virginia. James, welcome to Newsmax Prime.
Hey, JD, how are you?
We're doing fine. Appreciate you taking time to join us.
I'd like to ask Michael Reagan a question.
Go right ahead, James.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Michael why him and the rest of the Republicans are so jealous of Donald Trump if they won't give the man a chance. He might turn out to be as good a president as Ronald Reagan.
You know, I hate it when people try to equate Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan. I mean, the reality of it is, as I've said on my Twitter account many times, if Ronald Reagan was anything like Donald Trump, Nancy never would have married him. Donald Trump is a completely different person. He is the image of what we're living in now in America: social media, talk radio, talk television, all these things. That's what he's the product of. Ronald Reagan was not a product of that era. This is a new era. Maybe this is what people want, but he's got to prove it to me at this point. And you don't prove it to me by being demeaning to other Republicans like he is, whether it's the governor of New Mexico, whoever it might be. Ronald Reagan was not demeaning.
Well, I understand that, but there are certain folks in society who may play a prominent role, who from time to time have displayed multiple biases against conservatives in the press. For example, yesterday, ABC reporter Tom Yamas challenged Donald Trump on that whole fundraising operation for the veterans groups. And let's just listen to Donald Trump's response yesterday at the press conference.
I'm not looking for credit, but what I don't want is when I raise millions of dollars, have people say, like this sleazy guy right over here from ABC. He's a sleaze in my book. You're a sleaze because you know the facts, and you know the facts well.
Now, it may be different times, require different leaders, but I got to tell you, Michael, that strikes a very responsive chord within the conservative base.
Yeah, and I wrote my op-ed piece today, which will be out tomorrow, about that press conference. It said what he said and what he stated was what conservatives have stated and said for a long time. There's many times we want to shoot the television set, throw a rock through the TV set, what's being reported. I did it with my father when they misreported my father. The only problem I had with that press conference is there a point in time where Donald Trump becomes more presidential, because that will not play in the international game of politics with the G7, the G20, and those areas where a president can play basically without the Congress of the United States.
All right, fair enough. I would just point out for the record that Tom Yamas earlier in the campaign tried to school Donald Trump to tell him to quit referring to illegal aliens as illegal aliens, instead to call them migrants. And Mr. Trump responded without calling the guy name. He said, no, they're illegal aliens. People like to see it told like it is, and that is the perception they have of Donald Trump. Michael Reagan, you always tell it like it is, and we appreciate your time tonight Skyping in from Southern California. Thanks very much. Straight ahead, more of your phone calls, and John Bachman joins us to bring it into focus, so to speak. We'll explain that and have more right after this.